Hey guys, this is Gabe Dimmick from the Baseball Rebellion, and this is the swing breakdown for Justin Bour from the 2017 Home Run Derby. And I'm trying to do a better job of remembering at the beginning that a lot of people watching these breakdowns, they just want to see the swing. So I'm gonna let you guys go through these swings real quick, slow motion, just while I'm talking here at the beginning, so that you can see him swing all the way through fluidly, and then I'll get into that breakdown. All right, so Justin Bour, he's a guy that I haven't watched swing very much before this Home Run Derby, but I like a lot of what he does. He definitely uses a bigger tip move than some other guys, and when I say a tip move, I'm talking about when he kind of drops his hands down here, kind of like a David Ortiz type move, where you can see that bat's kind of away from him. And we're looking on both screens here where he pumps his hands down as he kicks his leg up, so the front leg is up. He's loading his back hip. You can see his back pocket kind of turned back here towards the pitcher. You can see that those hips loaded, and he pumps those hands down so he's tipped. And the thing that a tip can do is it can give the bat just more room to accelerate. So his bat's going to be coming back as he's reading the pitch, and then it can be accelerated down into the turn behind him, just like any other swing, but it's basically breaks the inertia. So the law of inertia says that an object that still wants to stay still, an object in motion wants to stay in motion. So he doesn't have to break that law of inertia when if his bat were still and then he had to speed it up, it's kind of moving into the turn, which can help generate some bat speed here. So it's a higher risk move. I think it is harder to be accurate and to feel your barrel doing that move, but again, it can definitely have its benefits as well. So I love his lower half, and I want you guys to really key in here on the right side of the screen. And this is my favorite thing that he does, is watch how his head doesn't move a ton. So I'm going to put his head over here in yellow. So we're just going to put a circle on his head. And then what I also want you guys to really key in on this back hip. Okay, so that line goes pretty close to that back hip. And let's see how much his lower half moves compared to his head. So what you're going to see is that lower body's really moving out away from the catcher, right? It's really moving toward the pitcher, but his head really fights to stay back. So while in this move his head's more over his middle, well, in the next one, as he goes into his landing here, what we're going to see is that his head has moved a tiny bit, but the lower half has moved a lot more, so now his head is over his back hip. Well, what's that allowing him to do? Well, it's allowing him now to really turn the bat behind him and to get his body leaning back, which is going to help him generate some elevation. So I love how he sets up his turn. I love it. It's great. You can see on this left view how he's going to pull his back foot through, so he's a really good hip thrust. I think his footwork is a lot better than Stanton. You're going to see, and I mentioned Stanton just because I just did his breakdown, but he's stepping in line, he's pulling his back foot straight ahead, and he's finishing his turn beautifully. So I love a lot of what this guy's doing. The biggest thing I see with him that would give me a little bit of pause is not from a power generation standpoint at all, but from an accuracy one. And my only concern here is similar to a guy like Jock Peterson. Notice how Bour really flattens his barrel out as he lands. You see how it's really, really flat right there? Well, on this pitch, this is a higher pitch, and so he's going to be okay because he flattens, and then he's going to be able to come sideways, and that's more of the way that you want to hit that higher pitch anyways, on that flatter, more like a merry-go-round kind of plane. Well, on a lower pitch, especially like a low and inside pitch, I could see him falling into some trouble, because from this spot, it would be really, really hard to hit a pitch that's down here by his knee on the inside half for sure. So if you were to have to get his bat more vertical, that would be really hard because his shoulder would be in the way. So what he would have to do is drop his hands and then kind of still flatten out to get in the way of it. And I just don't think that that's a very easy way to get to those low pitches. So I prefer guys, when they're, as far as where their bat angles are, more like Trout. He's kind of in the middle. Chris Bryant, I think, can be too vertical at times. So I think, there's kind of a happy medium. Judge, you're going to see here in a little bit, is kind of in the middle, like we said. So I think that's definitely something that, depending on what his results are. He may have to make some adjustments there, but I really like his swing and how he uses his body for a big, strong guy. And poor guy was up against Judge, man, who hit, I think he hit 22 home runs, and then Judge came back with 23. So that's just a tough first round draw. But really like Bour's swing, and I'll be interested to keep watching him in the future.